We find ourselves standing on virtual ground the very next moment.
こんな場所があるんだな。青春の趣味クラム用空間だな。よし、誰もいないみたいだし。
Us and I nod to each other and send the activation command to our brain chips. One by one, the constructors are reset to defaults. Quantum bits come together to form a tree-shaped class hierarchy. Bizarre feeling, one I've never felt before. My bones, muscles, and skin take on a cold robotic form. I notice that my body's now covered in metal and my heartbeat has been replaced by a racing electronic pulse. Now why does yours look different? If we installed the same thing, I see a simulacrum of a different color staying where Masa was mere moments ago. Yeah, but also looks like a completely different model. This metal machine moves as smoothly as my own body would. This is how piloting a simulacrum feels. We run around in sheer delight, remaining face to face as we travel in circles.
Oi! なんか勝手にタスクが来て。
The moment I yell that out, a dialogue is displayed in front of my eyes. It contains a list of pompously named lethal weapons.
おい、マサ、なんかやばいぞこれ。いいから、毒を食らえよ、皿までずっと。
Handgun! And then, a gun of sorts materializes in my hands. It's a 30mm handgun, likes of which I've only ever seen in arms catalogs.
これ、本物なのか？うわだ！
Is this real? Shoots his friend in the face.
気をつけろよ。俺が蜂の巣になるところだったじゃないか。すまん。でもこれ、ここリミッターあり空間。ああ。だから弾を食らっても記念に模擬戦闘でもしてみるか。ああ、もちろんだ。待ちに待った童貞喪失の記念日だからな。
That's a way of phrasing it. Moss and I nod to each other, do a backstep to put some distance between us, and...
Open combat.
Am I going to be actually controlling this, or... No? Okay. Oh, I see. So we're going to get bits and pieces of our memories. I thought it was going to just keep going, man. So I guess as the story in the present day continues, we get little flashback moments to like the days before and eventually see how everything came to be. As my eyes get used to the light, a dreary ceiling and a girl wearing a lab coat over a dress come into view. This is Noise Clinic. So all that stuff was my own memories. I was having a flashback, huh? Who won that first battle between Masa and me? I try to remember, but I can't. A pang of sadness takes hold of my heart. I can't believe years have passed since that sunny day.
学園生の1年生の春休みに入った頃です。
やはりそんなに古くはないか。現在に近い生活史ほど失われやすいが、失った記憶はたかだか数年分といったレベルだ。たかだか10代の数年、20代の数年、30代の数年は皆違う。おそらく君自身が感じるほど遠い昔じゃないはず。
What has happened to the world since then? Are Masa and Aki still doing okay?
数日間は頻繁に記憶疎行が起こるはずだ。とにかく今は休みたまえ。脳細胞はデリケートなバイオマシンだからな。
Saying no more, Anoi leaves the room.
お疲れ様です。
ああ、レイ、寝ていただけなのになんか妙に疲れたよ。
そのまま休んでください。今日はここに泊まっていけたの。
She gives me her usual, somewhat business-like smile. It has a tinge of weariness right now.
ひょっとしてずっとそこにいてくれたのか？
ええ、特に用事もありませんでした。
A blunt reply, but she then covers me up to my shoulders in a blanket.
ありがとう、レイ。
しかし忘れないでください。
わかってるよ。思い出にふけっている場合じゃない。そう。
The events I only experienced a few minutes ago are several years old in reality. Can't go back to those times anymore. I understand in my head that a lot of time has passed, but my heart refuses to come to terms with it. I want to go back to Kisaragi dorm. Even as that thought fills my head, my eyelids grow steadily heavier. and my mind dives into the dream world. This time, for real. Flashback. End. Save your game? Sure. Rain route? What do you mean rain route? What, because I decided to trust rain at the beginning of all that? I'm on a rain route? I don't want to be on a rain route. Sounds lame. As soon as the battle ends, my entire body starts creaking from the pain of all the strikes and gunshots I took.
しかし話には聞いてたけどひでえなこれ。
ああ、これでもリミッターが緩和してくれてるはずなんだけど。
でも
ああ、小便ちびるかと思ったぜ。
Complex kind of fatigue that is a mix of comfort and exhaustion comes over us. We both collapse to the ground.
なあ、リミッターなしなら今ので俺たちのどちらか
だろうな。あれはゲームじゃないからな。
本当に殺し合いをしてるんだな。
I've dreamed of piloting a simulacrum forever, and actually doing it filled me with a sense of power that I could easily get hooked on. That's exactly why I find it all a bit scary, because I now fully realize that these are killing
やっ
machines.
ぱりこれ返した方がいいのかな。
そうかもな。
Well, just be like, we should probably do this. But, still on the ground, we let the log-out process take over our minds. That's how Masa and I finally lost our simulacrum virginities. In the end, we skip school and go straight back to the dorm.
ただいま。
There's no
アキ
response.
さんまだ寝てんのかな。
まっとうに考えれば学
That's why I noticed a pair of black leather shoes by the entrance. They're quite big and probably belong to a
ア
man.
キさんの靴じゃないよな。
売却かな。
Asa and I exchanged glances before I even finished. If we go by what Aki said, nobody else was living here. Have the authorities come for us? My palms get covered in sweat.
様子を伺ってみるとするが。
We quietly take off our shoes and tiptoe down the hallway. And we find the mysterious visitor in one of the rooms. It's a 30-something Asian man. He's wearing a simple suit and glasses, and overall looks really plain. He's sitting cross-legged on the floor with his eyes closed and a peaceful expression, like he's meditating or something. You could hear a pin drop in the silence. It's like the air is frozen over and time has come to standstill around the guy. Overawed by this, Moss and I are unable to talk to him. Slowly opens his eyes and turns toward us.
すまない。誰もいなかったので勝手に上がらせてもらったよ。
Smile blows away the tension in the air and a sigh escapes both of us.
あなたはこの前の。
私は栗原直樹。また会ったね。
Saying that, he sends us his virtual card.
清州大学研究所の学者さんだったんですか。
Come to think of it, he does give off some scholarly vibes. He looks like a plain guy at first, but his eyes portray his poise and intelligence. Wait, was that what I heard on TV this morning? Did they say he was the head of the Assembler project, that huge GU
今
undertaking?
度君たちの学園でも講義をすることになってね。
懐かしの寮に顔を出してみたわけですか。
そんなところだ。よかったら君たちも名前を聞かせてくれ。
He asks us with a smile. We introduce ourselves in
こ
order.
うくんはアキくんの登園か。
Yeah, emphasis on distant,
彼
alright?
女は元気にしているかね。
Just putting that out there. They're quite distant relative, alright? Alright, no need to make any assumptions.
相変わらずだと思うんですけど。
変わっていないなら何よりだ。
He looks around the room with a fond look in his eyes. Looking at that, I realize why he was in this room.
もしかしてこの部屋はあなたの部屋だったんですか。
昔はね。さらに言えばこの部屋の家具は初代の寮生から。
While taking a closer look, I noticed that it's all made of wood. The wear and tear almost seems to suit them, proving that they're not imitations.
初代から代々ってひょっとしてこの寮ってそれなりに由緒正しかったり。
そこまで大行なものではないが、学園の創立当時から残っている数少ない寮の一つではあるね。第二世代電脳化が人類の未来を切り開く。そう信じた若者が戦後の混乱期に集い。
Feels strange to think that this room was once home to a man whose name now makes headlines. I'm not sure if I can follow the footsteps of someone like that.
そういえばテレビで見ました。アセンブラの開発をしていらっしゃるんですね。
すみません。 そのアセンブラって何です？
そうだな、簡単に言うと環境を汚染している物質などを選択的に有用な物質に書き換えることができるといったところかな。例えばだが、ダイオキシンに汚染された土壌を有機肥料に満ちた肥沃な土壌にしたり、汚染された水源を清水にしたりもできるはずだ。
そりゃまさに夢の技術ですね。
まあ、アセンブラは大げさではなく人類の希望だと思っているよ。
Koreeda begins to speak passionately, stops himself and scratches his head with a wry smile.
よかったら座ってくれないか。
あ、はい。
Austin and I hurriedly kneel on the floor. When I do, the cartridge in my pocket falls out.
はあ、
Try to pick it up quickly, but Koreeda gets his hand to it first.
これは
I don't know, man. Someone planted that on me. It's not mine. Can't prove it's mine. His expression goes from jovial to serious in an instant. You may have figured out what's on that cartridge just by seeing the GU logo. As we gulp in fear, he takes out a neurojack and plugs it into the
すで
cartridge.
にインストールしてしまったようだな。
すみません。
I end up apologizing before my brain can even catch up to what's going on, and Koreeda stares at us with a stern
これ
look.
をどこで手に入れたのか。
Probably shouldn't mention Aki here. Steel myself and look Koreeda right in the eye.
拾ったって言っても、
He doesn't say anything. He just continues to look me in the eye with an unwavering gaze. And I stare back at him without flinching. My back does break out in a cold sweat, though.
信じよ
With a surprising reply, he plays the cartridge in front of me.
栗原さん
う。君たちダイブの経験や趣味クラブの
一回だけです。それもさっき初体験。
誰かの指導のもとでかね。
When I silently shake my head, he lets out a big
無
sigh.
謀だな。趣味クラブは危険なツールだと理解しているの。
We have no words. Us and I can only hang our heads in shame. That's when a large pair of hands pats us both on the shoulder.
ついてきたまえ。
無論
無論ネットだ。
With a smile on his face, Koreeda holds out a pair of neurojacks for us. Oh, is he going to be our mentor? We're floating in the ether sea. Koreeda is standing in front of us, gazing at the glittering grid that's all around us.
行こう。言われるままに来ちゃったけど、わからないけど。
学者さんなら無茶も。
While we're whispering to each other, Koreeda turns around to face
さて
us.
始めるとするか。
始めるって
あの寮に住むのなら君たちも私がレクチャーしてやろう。私がしてもらったよう。
レクチャーですか？
危険だと解いても諦めないだろう。
Oh, you show us just how
最低
dangerous it
限
is.
守るべきルールを誰かが教えねばならないからな。
俺たちに趣味クラブの手本。
そうだな、いいだろう。私もそれなりに教えてやれる自信がある。無論君た
Why wouldn't we? This is a godsend.
いいんですか？本当に。
よろしくお願いします。
We bow deeply to him and he responds with a
私
nod.
は新入生にこんなイニシエーションをしたものだ。ようこそネットへ。我ら
Oh, damn, look how big and bulky his machine is. Goddamn. After that, we receive an arena lecture from our mentor.
師匠、
おいおい、
じゃあ先生、いや博士って呼んだ方がいいんです。
先生で十分だよ。学園で君たちに直接講義をする機会もあるから。
なら先生、質問。どうしても攻撃がつながらない。
むやみに攻撃を連打しても無駄だ。肝心なのはリズムとタイミングだよ。
理屈じゃ分かっている。
理屈で考えようとしているからだ。取るべき行動をあらかじめ理解すれば考える必要はなくなれれば。ほら
God damn.
すげえ。
なに、私なんぞまだまだだ。筋金入りのホットドガーならひとたび敵を打ち上げればそいつが落ちるまでにその機体を破壊し尽くしているだろう。
ホットドガーか。道のりは随分遠そうですね。
Why does that have to be the term for, like, what, an experienced
そうで
pilot?
もないさ。初日からそれだけ動ければ大した。普通なら初日は歩行訓練で潰れてしまう。
そんな。
All this make me blush somehow. While the two of us bashfully scratch our heads, he watches us warmly and nods.
教えがいがある生徒とはいいものだ。
じゃあ先生、なんでわざわざワイヤードでダイブしたんですか？
趣味クラブ乗りの基本だよ。リミッター付きエリアならともかくリミッターオフエリアは危険に満ちているからな。
ディスコネクト、フラットライン。
なあ、付け加えればワイヤードの方が第三者が
逆を言うと アボートしなければ帰れないような事態も。
シュミクラムをまとえばネットに深入りすることになる。備えよ常に。それを忘れると
確かにたまに死んでるやついるもんな。
でもどうして危険だと言いつつシュミクラム
だが正しい知識を持てばそれは様々な役に立つ。
おい
I turn around upon hearing a hoarse voice and find a bunch of old-fashioned simulacrums standing there.
貴様栗原直樹だな。
学園の人間ではないようだね。不法。
このエイリアニストめ。
お前ら
我々は東アジア反人工知性人類救済戦線暁の虎部隊のものである。
つまり反 AI 主義の方かね。
え
待ちたまえ。私は確かに心情的には AI 派かもしれんが、
貴様が化け物の倉庫であること。
先生
こう危ない。
若造といえどエイリアニストとして変更した教育を植え付けられた以上は。
やめたまえ。この子たちは無関係だ。
何なんですかこ
どうやら狂信的な反 AI 主義者らしいな。
どうして AI 嫌いが
寄生虫を駆除するためには意に沿わずとも没入する必要があるのだ。
まともに言葉を通わせることは無理なようだな。
俺
私は3人受け持つ。君たちのノルマは1機ずつ。
できるなって先生。
ちょうどいい腕鳴らしだ。
Yeah, shut up, Masa.
幸い
It's time to get
ここな
to
ら
it.
ば誰も死なない。
His eyes are filled with fighting spirits. He dashes in and cuts down an enemy in a flash.
どうした？威勢がいいのは口だ。
何をしている。かかれ。
こうどうするって
We fucking get in there.
くたばれこの天皇へ。うわっだこいつらマサ
お前の相手は私だ。
Simulacrum berates and charges at me. Brings me some horrible memories from the depths of my mind.
やーい犬の息子、お前の父ちゃん人殺しなんだろ。お前みたいなのエイリアン主義者っていう。
God damn.
お前ら
I grind my teeth and clench my fists. Damn it, do I actually get to jump into it myself?
勝っちゃったよ。
偉そうな態度の割には
彼らが弱かったのではない。君たちセカンドである時点でネットでの戦闘力に差が生じるものだ。例えるなら両生類とて、しかし陸に適応した爬虫類にはかなわない。
そういうもんなんですか。
いずれネットで子供が生まれ育つ時代が来れば我らはきっとその者たちには勝てない。
そんな時代が。
私はそう信。
そうですか。しかしあいつら
私も一応 AFA の末端会員だからな。最近エッジ関連の技術者や科学者が襲われる事件が頻発している。おそらくはそれも彼らの仕業だろう。
それで先生
年々この手の輩が増えている。今日はもう戻るとしようか。離脱用意を。
And then, after we parted with Mr. Kurihara, I found Aki waiting to give me a real talking to.
こうカートリッジを持っていったね。
ごめん。
She reaches out and lightly smacks me on the head. That lazy hit didn't hurt my head at all, but did make me feel the pangs of conscience. Having received my punishment, I obediently hold the cartridge up for Aki.
あげる。
Instead of taking it, she shakes her
で
head.
もこれを持ち出したから
黙って持ち出したからお説教。ニュ
Only when she says that does a long-forgotten childhood memory surface.
私がウィザードになったらコウのシュミクラムを作ってあげる。
Aww.
そんな大昔の約束。
私記憶力は優秀。
The cartridge that felt so dicey before now feels like a valuable treasure, and I grip it tight. Instead of just being happy about it, I'm overcome with all kinds of complicated
じゃ
feelings.
あこれをカスタマイズしたの
うん。寮の先輩たち
Tinge of sadness appears on Aki's
あ
face.
げるけど、一
Suddenly straightens up and gives me a serious look.
政治と宗教には関わらないで。
Ah, sounds like great terms, honestly. I get get the big robot, and in return, I just gotta stay away from politics and religion? Fuck, sounds amazing.
趣味クラブに乗るなら自分のために人の大義のためには
She continues to stare at me without blinking. I just answered a question I've been wanting to ask all this while.
アキネーの先輩だ。この寮の人たちは関わっちゃいけないものに関わ
She answers with a big
み
nod.
んなバカ
I guess that's why their rooms have remained untouched. She's been waiting for them to come back. Now she has me to worry about. She's giving me such a concerned look.
約束する。安心して。俺は趣味クラブが好きなだけで悪いことをしたいわけじゃないんだから。
And that's why I answer with a smile.
私こうは基本的に熱血
不安は俺の方だよ。だいたいなんで軍用のカートリッジなんてアキネーが持っているんだよ。
私はエリート無理しなくてもグレーゾーンで手に入るから改造のベースに使ってみた
She flashes a smug smile and then gets all
あの
serious.
趣味クラムには AI と同じ自己進化ロジックを組み込んでみた今はこうと同じで青2歳の新米だけど誰にも負けないぐらいにこうもあの趣味クラムもはぁ喋り疲れちゃった
With a sigh, she falls to the floor.
昔より表情が柔らかくなったね
She smiles at me fondly. She's grown so pretty. A sharp pang runs through my chest, but I reply with a smile.
アキネーこそ柔らかくなり
うん先輩たち優しかったから
Still on the floor, she reaches out and puts her hand on my head. It's a warm, nostalgic feeling. If I were a cat, I'd definitely be purring right
お
now.
かえりこうずっとこうを待っていた
I close my eyes, feeling completely at home, and let sleep take over my body. Today was too eventful. It wore me out. I'm sure I'm in for many more eventful days like this one. Asa and I are back at the arena again today. Simulacrum pilots gather here every day to take part in competitive matches against one another. We've been assigned the entry numbers 779867 and 8868. Those are our IDs for today.
試合開始は2時間後だぜ。
IDs are one thing, but it normally isn't so easy to get matches assigned to you. But we managed to worm our way into today's schedule on Mr. Kurihara's recommendation. Other than that, one only needs to fulfill two conditions in order to take part in arena matches. Own a simulacrum and be an amateur pilot.
よし行くぜこうおう
We turn toward each other and smack our hands together in a hard high five.
エントリーナンバー779867試合開始3分前です
That's me, baby.
いよいよハリーナデビューだな。
なんだガキじゃねえかしかもデビュー戦で俺様と戦う気か
As soon as I take a deep breath to calm my nerves, my opponent starts talking down to me over the radio.
まあ臆病風に吹かれて逃げなかったのは
言ってろ。デビュー戦だからって甘く見るなよ。
第138組位置についてください
さておっ始めるぜ小僧
おっさんの方こそ秒殺なんかされないでくれよ。
We glare at each other through the face windows and keep talking trash. Oh, that's when we return to the real world.
よっしゃ華々しいデビュー戦勝利や。
参ったぜ
The arena match I dreamed about for so long ends in a matter of minutes, leaving me with an adrenaline high. I want to fight more.
おい浸ってないで場所を開けろ。
ああ、すまん。
I get driven out of the arena before my victory even sinks in. Find Mr. Kurihara waiting for me after my match.
先生来てくれていたんですか。
推薦した手前ね。デビュー戦にしてはなかなかいい試合だったよ。
ありがとうございます。でもあっけないというかなんというかなんだか物足りないですね。
これから何度でも試合はできるさ。まあそんなにすぐには順番は回ってこないだろう。
そうですね。
Two of us stick around and watch the other matches and eventually meet up with Moss after he's done.
しかしあっという間だったな
Break out into a smile when he says the exact same thing as me. One has to wait a long time in queue before they get to fight in the arena, but the matches themselves end in a flash. Due to that, people often end up feeling like their thirst hasn't been quenched.
今から申請すれば次の出番は3日後ってとこかな。
もっと戦いたいな。休む間もなくもっとたくさんの相手と。
Just then, a huge cheer breaks out. I look at the wall monitor, which is displaying a video of simulacrums fighting one another with some big text overlaid on top.
趣味クラム新人選手権3
Newbies Impact. Only rookie pilots with fewer than 15 arena matches under their belt can participate, and it's amateurs only, of course.
おい、これって。
Every year, apart from the regular bouts we just took part in, the arena also hosts a major tournament that even attracts big-name sponsors. Most of the famous pilots in the area tend to be the ones placed very highly in that tournament in the past. Until now, I could only enjoy it as a spectator.
これに出られれば順番待ちはなくなるよな。
ああ、対戦相手には困らなさそうだ。
それに学生のうちから名を上げておいた方が将来有利になるかもしれないし。
将来でもお前軍人にだけはならないんだろ。
そりゃそうなんだ。
Yeah, the only possible workplaces for a simulacrum pilot I can think of are the military, security firms, and mercenary groups. That said, becoming a professional simulacrum fighter is ridiculously difficult too. If I could make a living by piloting a simulacrum, I'd be living the dream. As much as I am aware that such fantasies don't often work out, I can't help but dream.
どう思います先生。先生は新人戦は出たんですか。
残念ながら私は新人戦前の試合数が規定を超えていたので出られなかった。でも出てみたかったとは思っているよ。技術は拙いが純粋な熱い心を持った者同士がぶつかり合う新人戦は
He's looking at me with a gentle look in his eyes.
でも確かに学生チャンピオンって響くは魅力さ。やるだけやってみようぜ。面白いじゃないか。出てみようぜ、その大会ってやつに。
With a carefree smile, Masu smacks me on the shoulder. He may have figured out how I was feeling. I feel truly lucky to have such a great
し
friend.
かしさすがに大会ともなると賞金も結構なもんがあるな。
We start reading through the
あ
announcement.
でもちょっと待て。これって個人戦じゃなくて3人1組のチーム戦だぜ。
マジか。
It's nighttime. I visit Aki's room to talk to her about the tournament.
飽きね
I wait for a bit, but there's no reply.
え。方がないな。
Unsurprisingly, I can hear her sleeping when I enter the room.
飽きね
I reach out to wake her up, but then I notice the neurojack sticking out of her
え
neck.
だいぶしたまま寝てる。
What now? Look around the room while trying to figure out what to do. The dimly lit room is full of expensive equipment. It has LEDs everywhere, which look almost like a bunch of fireflies flying around. Aki spends half the day every day cooped up in this room. Well, she spends the other half sleeping in the living room.
こんな調子でいいのかな。
Spot one particularly bright LED out of the corner of my eye. Take a closer look and find that it's a neurojack port indicator. There's an empty port right next to the one Aki's using. If I connect to this, I should be able to access the area she's in.
ちょっと潜ってみるか。
I'm guessing what she's in. I bring out a neurojack. Yeah, I'm guessing she's in like. Whoa. What I was saying is like she's probably in some area without a limiter and like something bad's gonna be happening. One look at the private space is enough to make me cringe. It's like an unholy love child of Dali and manga art. The place has wonky perspective and is filled with bizarre creatures and cyber icons.
飽きねえってば。まったく。
You know what they say about there being a very thin line between genius and insanity? Well, she lives on that line.
あでも
I remember now. This is the virtual room Aki and I used to play in all the time when we lived together as kids.
懐かしいな。まだ残ってたんだここ。
The closer look reveals some minor differences. I don't remember the walls having two doors before, and there used to be a lot more stuffed toys lying about. Casually try to open the door closest to me,
鍵がかかってる。
then get curious about the other one. I approach the other door and place a hand on its knob, and then
あ、開いた。
I figured this one would be locked too, but it opened easily. In fact, it feels like it opened even before I tried to open
い
it.
いのかな。勝手に入っちゃって。
But Aki might be here, so I gently throw open the door. Behind that door is a massive field with flowers blooming
飽
everywhere.
きね
No reply. I timidly set foot
え。
inside.
変なトラップとか仕掛けてないよな。
As I walk through the seemingly endless field, I spot a person. And I forget to breathe for a second. There's a girl sitting there. She just stares at my face, her eyes filled with wonder. She's got plump cheeks and perfectly round eyes. Her long silky hair sways in the wind. Damn, she's so pretty. Looking at her makes my heart feel like it's about to explode. Why do I get the feeling I've met her before? Oh. The incident from the other day comes to mind for some reason. Back then I couldn't get a clear look at that girl's face, but I mustered up the courage to talk to her. She gives me a somewhat skeptical look, but the way she smiles at me at the same time is almost angelic.
君は誰？
She parrots my question right back at me. She got a distinctly clear voice, but one that also exudes childish innocence.
俺はこう門倉こう。君の名前は？
She places a finger on her lips and looks up at the sky with a puzzled look. It's almost like she's trying to recall what the word name means.
名前。
Wait, does she not know her own name? That can't be. I nervously await her answer.
寝るな。
Crap, I yelled at her. She stares at me with her eyes open
ご
wide.
めんごめん。驚かせたり怖がらせるつもりはなかったんだ。
She smiles at me with a troubled look. A bashful smile. That means I am getting through to her, right? I breathe a sigh of relief, and when I do, a strange happiness wells up inside of me. We look at each other and laugh for no reason. The tension in the air is long gone. I feel completely at ease.
何笑ってるんだ。
こら！
I suddenly hear an angry voice turn around cautiously. Standing there is Aki, glaring at me with displeasure apparent in her eyes.
なんだ、やっぱりここに。
プライバシー侵害。
ごめん、飽きねえ。耳もげる。
目的はどうやってここに入った？
いや、そしたら扉が開いて。
鍵は？
いや、
うん。
それより秋ね、質問が。
却下。
いや、だからここって昔のあの部屋だよね。この子。
そんなところ。
そっか、秋姉にもここに連れてくるような友達が。
こう。それ傷つく。
ごめんごめん。でも友達なら今度マサとかナノハとか。
それはダメ。
なんでさ。
秘密。
Certainly did look like she'd locked this space to keep people out. Romantic secret space. 2 young girls. Could it be? Crap, my imagination went into overdrive there.
この子、君。
確かに可愛い。
うん、
なんだよ。
だったらこの子の友達になってあげて。少し訳あってこの子は少し幼い。
Looking at Aki's expression, I feel like I shouldn't pry too much. Not like I mind being her friend anyway. Aki suddenly manifests the keyboard midair and starts typing.
これでいつでもここに入れる。
いいの？
その代わりみんなには内緒。
ああ、わかった。
約束だからね。
With those words, Aki vanishes into thin air, leaving the two of us alone. In the end, I couldn't figure anything out. While I'm scratching my head in disbelief, the girl peers into my face.
こんにちは。
I lower my head and she follows suit and gives me a bow of her own.
少し話がしたい。
話？
うん。嫌じゃなかったら。
嫌じゃなかった。
Again, she bears my words with a puzzled look. Maybe she doesn't understand what I'm saying after all. Well, I can't get anything out of her like this. But she really is adorable. She's got this pure, innocent aura to her. I end up gazing at her. She suddenly looks away.
どうしたの？
No response. Did I creep her out by staring too much? But she's smiling, and I notice her cheeks are beet red.
そっか。
Muttering that, she puts a hand on her cheek to check.
恥ずかしい。
She then places her hands on her chest and says that almost like she's confirming how she feels. Suddenly feel some mature vibes from her, and my heart skips a beat.
参ったな。
Now it's my turn to get embarrassed and hide my face. She approaches me and peers into my face from up close, her eyes full of curiosity.
恥ずかしい？
She's asking me, isn't she?
うん、ちょっと嬉しいかも。
I give her a straight answer without thinking. As if to say she feels the same way, the girl flashes a dazzling smile. My head's pounding like crazy. Wake up feeling terrible, and a familiar voice calls out to me from the side.
どうした？頭が痛むのか？
先生、俺。
Alright, yesterday I was treated at this shady clinic and went to sleep right after that.
記憶が混乱しているようだな。あるいは心理的なブロックがかかっているのかもしれない。
心理的なブロックって どういうことですか？
例えば記憶の順番が著しく前後していたり、
トラウマ、そんな雰囲気の夢じゃなかった。
まあそのような症状も記憶が戻ってくれば鎮静剤が必要かね。
いえ。
My headache went away while talking to Noi. I think back to the flashback I just had.
青春の夢。
Dreaming about my time as a student. I remember it faintly. No, I guess I should say I recalled it now. Contacting my friends and acquaintances from back then could serve as a catalyst to regaining more of my memories, couldn't it?
ツールキットを展開。
My toolkit menu is filled with icons I don't recognize. My favorites from my school days are nowhere to be
ま
found.
るで他人の持ち物だ。ドキュメントが欲しいところだな。
Complaining to myself, I sift through the pile of tools and finally find a mailbox icon.
知ってるやつは。くそ、なんでこんなことに。
See Aki's name and Masa's, but nobody else. Nobody else I'm familiar with. Why? There are a bunch of unread emails. My agent program has marked one of them as a max priority.
優先度さ、なんだ。
I open the email, a middle-aged man's face appears in front of me.
よ注意俺だよ
My boy Eddie. He has a mohawk and is wearing mirror shades. The countless cyber items dangling from his frail body clearly show that he's a wirehead.
なんだこれ。俺はこんなうさんくさいやつとも知り合いだったのか。
注意の推測ビンゴだってすげえねもうちょい詳しいことを掴んだらまた連絡すっからよこいつはどでかいスキャンダルになるうまいこと言ったな
The message finishes playing and everything around me falls silent once again.
俺の推測が。
Who the heck is this guy? What the hell is he talking about? Would Rain know?
レインはどこへ行ったんですか？
さあな、外の空気でも吸っているのではないかね。
Thankfully, I find her standing right outside the clinic. Try to call out to her, but stop myself. She's wearily looking up at the cloudy sky. Her expression shows no sign of her usual cool and sharp demeanor. Her lips move slightly, and she whispers something to herself, too far away to catch it. At the same time, she brings something out of her inside her shirt and holds it up and holds it tight. It's glimmering in the light, so it's probably some kind of metal accessory. Rain closes her eyes, begins and brings her hands together, almost as though she's praying. You just saw something run down her cheek. I probably shouldn't go talk to her right now. I'll head back inside and wait for her to return. I enter the clinic and find it empty. Looks like Noi ran off somewhere. Can't stop thinking about that earlier email. What did he mean my guess was right on the money? What in the world was I guessing? That's when the door opens and a shapely figure enters the room.
注意。
ああ、レイン。おかえり。
もうこんな時間だったのですね。すみません。お目覚めの時。
あのな、召使いじゃないんだから。
私には今のコウさんを保護する義務があります。
She's gone back to wearing that stiff smile again.
すまない。
She laughs at me a little.
申し訳ありません。以前の注意と同じことをおっしゃるので。
俺昔からレインに苦労をかけっぱなしなんだな。
コウさん。
学園時代のことはいろいろとね。ああ、それよりこのメールを見てくれないか。
メールですか？
I forward that email to her.
この男に。
コウさんが懇意にしていた情報屋じゃないでしょうか。私には面識がありませんが調べてみます。
Rain's eyes space out and regain their focus a few seconds later. She turns to me to report her
エデ
findings.
ィ・オルベラ、通称スマックジャック・エディ。
Smackjack Eddie. What a
ハ
name.
ッキングなどで得た機密情報を高額で売りつける情報屋です。リアルの居場所はですがネットならコンタクト。
俺はこの男に何かを探らせて。
おそらく注意。もうしばらく記憶測候処置を受けた後からにし。
でも情報屋から話を聞くことで場所を教えてくれないか。
わかりました。
Rain gives in and forwards me an
彼が
address.
潜伏しているのは
Chapter 3 Reunion. Oh ho ho. Before I can even blink, we arrive in an unfamiliar space. Massive gray structure with its filthy walls covered in graffiti. The sky texture is gleaming in a bizarre color.
警告。ここはリミッターの影響範囲外のエリアです。
So this is Anonymous City. I look it up using a data link. Nobody knows where the city came from, or well, it's more like it's impossible to identify one particular source. That's because countless underground communities that date back to the previous century created this place as they merged, disbanded, and increased in number over the years. It runs on extra bandwidth stolen from the AI network and rerouted through innumerable threads, so nobody can shut it down. There's no map of the city because it's in a constant process of tearing down and rebuilding. People living here place no importance on individual names. There's no resident database either. That's Anonymous City in a nutshell, also known as the internet's garbage dump.
注意、やはりここは危険です。
俺だけのこのこ引き返せって。でもエディと直接連絡取ってたのは俺なんだ。
そんな男に頼むのではなく。
ああ。
I want to tell her to direct her complaints to my past self, but I control myself.
とにかく俺も行くよ。
いや、変な人に絡まれ
や
て無視してください。
After a while, Rain comes to a halt in a corner of the city and points at an avatar door on the surface of the
こ
wall.
こです。
Seriously couldn't tell the difference between any of the places we walked through, but fortunately, it seems like we made it to our destination without any problems.
ノックでもすればいい。
Rain doesn't respond, she's simply looking down. On the ground is a red puddle. It's still gradually growing in size, and the source seems to be on the other side of the door. Rain takes out a gun and sticks to the wall beside the door. I do the same on the opposite side.
中には電子体が1名。
After whispering that to me, Rain quickly kicks open the door. It opens with a thud, exposing the dark interior. There's a strangely sweet scent drifting in the air, along with the stench of blood. There are a bunch of monitors emitting light inside.
スナックジャックエディです。
Rain rushes to a corner of the room where a bloody man is sitting with his back to the
こ
wall.
いつ。
撃たれたのはつい先ほどのようです。銃創が4箇所。
Hoarse voice. His filthy jacket is covered in holes and blood. I can see his flesh through the holes. What an incredibly realistic sight. It's an indifferent and merciless AI simulation of his body dying in agony. The information broker grabs my collar with great pain.
バレた誰にだ。
何を言ってやがる。お前に頼まれてすら頭いかれつか。兄弟あんたが生きてて俺だけ。
Take a deep breath and stare at the now unmoving body of Smack Jack Eddie. Its type changes from living thing to matter, and it gets disconnected from his body in the real world. That's how internet logic works. Anyone who chooses an online life cannot escape an online death. And having lost his avatar, which contained his mind and soul, his real body will soon die too.
いけないもんだよ。
I saw a man die a gruesome death, but my mind's shockingly calm. I feel no sadness toward his loss, only overwhelming frustration at how powerless I am. I may only have my memories as a student, but deep down in my heart, in my subconscious, I may already be reverting back to who I used to be. Rain hurriedly connects her neurojack to Eddie's.
生命反応が消えないうちに彼の脳チップからできるだけ情報を抜き出します。
危険なんじゃないのか。
Eddie's body starts convulsing out of nowhere, and Rain falls right on top of me.
おい、レイン。
Her hand's holding a disconnected
びっ
neurojack.
くりさせないでくれ。
Rain suddenly glares out the
ど
door.
うした。
屋外約150仮想メートルの地点にシュミクラム反応。
Simulacrums.
シュミクラムだって。
サンキュー。まだ来ます。急いでここを出ましょう。
I do as Rain says and jump out the door.